How much was Elijah Wood paid for the Lord of the Rings trilogy? Set against a backdrop of global fanfare and sweeping cinematic ambition, the Lord of the Rings trilogy thrust Elijah Wood into a level of symbolic spotlight that few actors of his generation ever experienced. He entered that scale of myth with a gaze wide with wonder and a face that seemed too gentle for the burden he was tasked to carry. A former child actor who had grown up on screen, Wood became the centerpiece of one of the most celebrated film franchises in history, permanently linking his identity to a story that spanned decades and languages. Wood began acting professionally before he was 10, making his debut with a minor role in Back to the Future Part 2 in 1989. Through the early 1990s, he appeared in films like Avalon, Forever Young, and The Adventures of Huck Finn, gaining prominence as a child actor during a time when youth-centered storytelling flourished. He achieved international prominence in the early 2000s for his portrayal of Frodo Baggins in Peter Jackson's film adaptation of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings trilogy. A long-time admirer of The Hobbit, Wood submitted an audition tape of himself in costume, performing lines from the book. In a GQ interview, Wood spoke about the competitive nature of the casting process and his determination to make a strong impression. Since the script for The Fellowship of the Ring was closely guarded, actors were only permitted to read it inside the casting office. Wood adhered to the rule, reading the script on-site and later describing its immediate effect. "Driving home, I was so immersed in the world," he said, illustrating how strongly the narrative pulled him in even during the audition phase. Looking to stand out in a pool of hopefuls, he took the unconventional step of producing a custom audition tape. "I went to a vocal coach for the dialect and enlisted some friends, including George Huang, who is a writer and filmmaker," he